The world of modern reality television is a strange and mesmerizing landscape where the boundaries between private existence and public entertainment dissolve entirely. For years, audiences have tuned in week after week to watch a group of affluent, ambitious friends navigate the sun-drenched, high-stakes social scene of the Hamptons. This environment, fueled by endless summer weekends, lavish parties, and intense interpersonal dynamics, has birthed some of the most memorable moments in contemporary pop culture. It is a place where friendships are forged in the fires of shared ambition, and where romantic entanglements are scrutinized by millions of viewers. Within this glittering microcosm, two individuals emerged not just as central cast members, but as the emotional anchors of an entire franchise. Their connection, which spanned nearly a decade, became the defining narrative arc of the show, captivating fans who watched them evolve from casual acquaintances into inseparable best friends, and eventually into a deeply committed couple. The trajectory of their relationship seemed to follow a classic, almost cinematic script of modern romance, filled with dramatic confessions, grand gestures, and the kind of deep mutual understanding that only comes from years of shared history. Viewers invested their own emotions into this journey, celebrating each milestone alongside them and believing that this bond, tested by the unique pressures of reality television, was built to last. However, the very cameras that documented their rise also captured the precise moments when the foundation began to fracture, leading to a spectacular and highly publicized collapse that left the audience stunned and divided. The fallout from this sudden dissolution was monumental, transforming what was once a partnership of profound trust into a battlefield of mutual recrimination, public statements, and a complete severance of ties both in the physical world and across the digital sphere. In the aftermath of such a devastating break, the silence between them was deafening, amplified by the relentless glare of media speculation and the constant commentary of a deeply invested fanbase. For months, it seemed entirely impossible that these two former partners would ever find a way back to common ground, let alone rebuild the friendship that had once formed the bedrock of their lives. The emotional wounds were too deep, the public accusations too sharp, and the sense of betrayal too overwhelming for any bridge to span the distance that had grown between them. Yet, beneath the surface of this intense alienation, the shared history and the undeniable gravity of their past continued to exert a powerful, unseen pull, setting the stage for a series of unexpected encounters and gradual shifts that would slowly challenge the narrative of permanent estrangement. Before we dive deeper into the intricate details of this unfolding reality television saga and explore how these two complex personalities began to navigate the wreckage of their shared past, take a moment to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the stories shaping the entertainment world. As the seasons changed and the production cycle of their hit series continued, the public could only watch from afar, interpreting the subtle clues left behind on social media platforms and through brief, carefully measured statements in the press. The complete digital detachment between the former couple served as a stark reminder of the definitive line that had been drawn in the sand, a line that signaled the end of an era for the show and for the community of fans who had supported them. Every interview, every public appearance, and every subtle interaction with other cast members was analyzed for any sign of lingering animosity or potential reconciliation, creating a continuous wave of speculation that kept their names at the forefront of pop culture discourse. This prolonged period of separation allowed both individuals to focus on their independent paths, to pursue new ventures, and to seek healing away from the immediate shadow of their shared trauma. It was a necessary time of reflection, a period where the raw intensity of their public split could gradually cool, allowing the chaotic emotions of the past to give way to a more mature and grounded perspective on what they had lost and what might still be salvaged. The journey of moving forward after such a catastrophic romantic failure is never linear, and when that journey is continuously broadcast to millions of onlookers, the stakes are exponentially higher, requiring an extraordinary amount of resilience and self-awareness. The fascinating element of this long-standing dynamic is how deeply it resonates with the universal human experience of love, loss, and the agonizingly difficult process of forgiveness. While the setting may be an opulent beach community and the lifestyle may seem far removed from the daily realities of most viewers, the core emotional struggles remain intensely relatable. The audience watched as two people who knew each other's deepest vulnerabilities suddenly became strangers, demonstrating how quickly the closest bonds can disintegrate under the weight of unmet expectations and miscommunication. This initial chapter of their reconciliation is not merely about a change in digital status or a fleeting moment of public politeness. It is the beginning of a profound exploration into whether time, maturity, and a genuine respect for a shared history can truly heal the deepest of relational wounds. As the narrative begins to shift from a story of bitter endings to one of potential new beginnings, the anticipation among the fanbase has reached an unprecedented fever pitch, with everyone wondering how these two strong-willed individuals will manage to redefine their connection in the full view of the public eye. The atmosphere is charged with a mix of skepticism and hope, as observers prepare to witness the next phase of a story that has already redefined the parameters of reality television drama, proving that the most compelling narratives are often those that take the most unexpected turns. The long and winding road to this unexpected digital reconciliation began years ago, stretching all the way back to the summer of 2016 when Radke and Lindsay Hubbard first crossed paths while filming the inaugural season of the hit Bravo reality series, Summer House. At the time, neither could have predicted how inextricably linked their lives would become over the course of the next decade, nor could they have anticipated the immense public scrutiny that would follow their every move. In those early days, their connection was defined by a deep, platonic camaraderie that stood out amidst the shifting alliances and fleeting romances of the Hamptons' house. They were each other's confidants, navigating the chaotic waters of sudden reality TV fame, career transitions, and personal growth side by side. This solid foundation of friendship remained intact even through a brief, experimental romantic foray during the show's fourth season, a trial run that they both quickly realized was premature, leading them to consciously step back and prioritize preserving the invaluable bond they had built. For years, this decision seemed to be the correct one, as they continued to support each other through various life challenges, including Carl's profound journey towards sobriety and career reinvention, and Lindsay's highly publicized professional and personal endeavors. They were widely regarded by fans and fellow cast members alike as the ultimate example of a successful platonic partnership in the reality television universe. However, the undeniable chemistry and deep-seated trust between them eventually led to a seismic shift in January 2022, when Lindsay confirmed to the world that she and Carl had decided to give their romantic relationship another chance. This announcement sent shockwaves of excitement through the Bravo community, as fans who had rooted for them for years saw this development as the ultimate fairy tale ending for two best friends who were finally realizing they were meant to be together. The relationship progressed rapidly, fueled by the intensity of their shared history and the overwhelming support of their audience. Just 7 months later, in August 2022, Carl orchestrated a breathtakingly romantic proposal on a picturesque beach in the Hamptons, a moment captured perfectly by the ever-present Bravo cameras. The image of the couple celebrating their engagement surrounded by rose petals and the cheers of their closest friends seemed to solidify their status as reality TV royalty. And plans for an extravagant destination wedding in Mexico quickly dominated their lives and the storyline of the show. It appeared that all the years of friendship, mutual support, and personal struggles had finally culminated in a beautiful permanent partnership. But the fairy tale came to a crashing, unimaginable halt just 1 year later, in August 2023, during a filmed conversation that would go down as one of the most controversial and highly debated moments in reality television history. In a move that shocked the cast, the producers, and millions of viewers worldwide, Carl made the agonizing decision to call off the wedding entirely, effectively ending his engagement and relationship with Lindsay just months before they were scheduled to walk down the aisle. The fallout from this decision was immediate and catastrophic, characterized by an intense wave of public heartbreak, anger, and confusion. Lindsay maintained fiercely that she was completely blindsided by the split, expressing profound devastation and later claiming that Carl had deliberately coordinated with the Summer House production team to ensure that the painful breakup was captured entirely on camera for maximum dramatic effect. Carl, on the other hand, defended his decision by pointing to the deep-seated communication issues, escalating arguments, and fundamental compatibility doubts that had plagued their relationship behind closed doors, arguing that calling off the wedding was ultimately the most responsible, albeit incredibly painful, choice for both of their futures. The subsequent fallout was playing out not just in private mediation, but across the unforgiving landscape of social media and tabloid journalism. Lindsay, deeply hurt and seeking to establish firm boundaries to process her grief and anger, took the definitive step of blocking Carl on Instagram, a digital gesture that in the modern era signifies the total and complete severance of a relationship. For months, the two former best friends were locked in a cold war of absolute silence, actively avoiding each other at industry events, refusing to speak during press tours, and remaining deeply at odds throughout the filming of the subsequent summer seasons. The tension between them was palpable, casting a long, heavy shadow over the entire Summer House franchise as mutual friends were forced to navigate the awkward and deeply divided terrain of choosing sides or attempting to remain neutral in the wake of such a toxic and highly publicized separation. The exterior of their estrangement finally began to show its first microscopic cracks in April of the following year, when an unexpected commercial opportunity brought them back into the same professional orbit. In a move that surprised many industry observers, the exes agreed to team up for a tongue-in-cheek Uber Eats commercial, a promotional campaign that cleverly poked fun at a completely separate reality television scandal involving their co-stars West Wilson and Amanda Batula. This brief, highly scripted collaboration required them to put aside their personal animosity for the sake of professional obligation, and while it did not immediately repair their broken friendship, it served as an essential icebreaker, demonstrating to both Carl and Lindsay that they could coexist in a working environment without the situation devolving into chaos. Despite this minor professional truce, they continued to maintain a strict emotional and physical distance in their personal lives, especially as Lindsay began a significant new chapter, entering a committed relationship with Turner Coupe and embarking on the journey of motherhood, eventually welcoming her beautiful daughter, Gemma, in December 2024. This massive life transition for Lindsay seemed to further solidify the idea that her past with Carl was firmly behind her, buried under the weight of new responsibilities, a new family, and a completely redefined future that had no room for the ghosts of her previous engagement. Yet, the universe of reality television has a strange way of forcing closure. And as the production of Summer House pressed onward into its landmark 10th season, the former couple found themselves trapped in the same house once again, forced to confront the unresolved trauma and lingering resentment that had defined their lives for nearly 2 years. Throughout the summer, viewers watched with bated breath as the palpable tension between Carl and Lindsay simmered beneath the surface of every group dinner, every pool party, and every late-night confrontation. The anticipation built to an absolute fever pitch, culminating in an extraordinary, emotionally charged Season 10 finale. In a deeply vulnerable and surprisingly mature conversation, the exes finally sat down away from the noise of the group to talk through the painful wreckage of their past. They addressed the blindsiding, the broken trust, and the immense hurt they had inflicted upon one another, moving beyond the superficial arguments to reach a place of genuine, mutual understanding. For the first time since that devastating day in August 2023, viewers saw Carl and Lindsay actively choose to let go of their contentious split, offering each other a form of closure that allowed them to finally move forward as individuals, laying the vital groundwork for the mind-boggling digital reunion that was destined to follow. The profound emotional breakthroughs achieved during the emotional climax of the landmark 10th season finale were not merely fleeting moments manufactured for the benefit of television ratings, but rather the genuine catalyst for a brand new chapter in their historically turbulent relationship. After the camera stopped rolling and the intense production schedule wrapped, the true test of their newly discovered peace began in the quiet reality of their everyday lives, away from the constant direction of producers and the omnipresent gaze of the public. The first tangible evidence of this monumental shift came to light in September 2025, when Carl Radke celebrated a significant professional milestone with the grand opening of his highly anticipated non-alcoholic hospitality venture, the Soft Bar. In a move that absolutely stunned onlookers and delighted longtime fans of the franchise, Lindsay Hubbard made a surprise appearance at the opening event, offering her genuine, unprompted support to the man who had once been her fiancé. Reflecting on this monumental gesture during a subsequent interview on Page 6 Radio, Carl expressed a deep sense of humility and profound gratitude, stating openly that it felt incredibly good to have Lindsay there by his side in that capacity. He confessed that he felt deeply honored that she would take the precious time out of her busy life to attend and celebrate his success, especially given the immense gravity of everything that had transpired between them over the years. Noting that it was simply wonderful to see her in that positive light, this quiet, mutual respect set the perfect stage for the definitive moment that would officially signal to the entire world that the bitter war between Carl and Lindsay was finally over. The monumental occasion took place during an emotionally charged, highly anticipated appearance by Lindsay on Carl's newly launched podcast, beautifully titled More Life. The episode quickly became a viral sensation, serving as the ultimate modern platform for a public reconciliation that fans had been desperately waiting to witness for years. During the recording, the undeniable chemistry and familiar ease that had originally defined their decade-long bond were on full display, proving that despite the immense pain of the past, the underlying foundation of their connection had never been completely erased. In a beautifully dramatic and playful sequence that perfectly captured their larger-than-life personalities, the duo stood side by side and initiated a literal countdown before simultaneously tapping their smartphone screens, officially refollowing each other on Instagram and reversing the digital banishment that had stood as a symbol of their estrangement for so many long months. The immediate reaction to this digital reunion was an absolute explosion of joy and pure relief from both parties involved. As soon as the virtual connection was re-established, Carl, overwhelmed with positive emotion, triumphantly quipped to the listening audience that they were officially back, a sentiment that Lindsay warmly and instantly echoed with equal enthusiasm. Later on in the deeply reflective episode, Carl admitted to his listeners that he was genuinely happy, revealing that Lindsay following him back on the social media platform was a milestone that he simply could not stop thinking about, illustrating just how much her presence and approval still meant to him after all this time. This public display of forgiveness was not just a superficial media stunt, it was a profound testament to the incredible personal growth and maturity that both individuals had achieved through their separate, often painful journeys toward healing and self-discovery. To truly understand the immense significance of this reconciliation, one must look at the remarkable individual paths Carl and Lindsay have walked since the devastating collapse of their engagement. Carl's journey has been defined by an unyielding, deeply inspiring commitment to long-term sobriety, personal accountability, and career reinvention. Navigating the treacherous waters of public scrutiny while actively working to maintain his sobriety on a reality television show has been a monumental challenge, yet he has emerged as a symbol of resilience, channeling his personal experiences into his business ventures like the Soft Bar, which seeks to create inclusive, non-alcoholic spaces for individuals looking to celebrate life without the presence of alcohol. His ability to face his past mistakes, extend grace to those he has hurt, and quietly rebuild his life from the ground up has earned him widespread respect from fans and peers alike, transforming him from a chaotic reality star into a grounded, focused entrepreneur. Lindsay's path, conversely, has been a beautiful whirlwind masterclass in reinvention, emotional resilience, and the profound joy of building a brand new legacy. Following the public heartbreak of her broken engagement, she refused to let the narrative of being blindsided define her future. Instead, she threw herself into her work, expanded her successful public relations career, and eventually opened her heart to a beautiful new romance with Turner Cuffey. This relationship brought a deep, steady stability to her life, culminating in the ultimate blessing of motherhood when she welcomed her precious daughter, Gemma, into the world in late 2024. The experience of becoming a mother completely transformed Lindsay's worldview, softening her approach to past conflicts and providing her with a mature, long-term perspective that made the lingering bitterness of her past relationship with Carl seem small and insignificant in comparison to the immense love and responsibility of her new daily life. It was this profound inner peace that ultimately allowed her to extend an olive branch to Carl, recognizing that their shared history was too valuable to be permanently discarded. The incredible saga of Carl Radke and Lindsay Hubbard serves as a powerful real-life reminder that human relationships are rarely black and white, and that the end of a romance does not necessarily have to mean the permanent death of a beautiful friendship. Their decade-long narrative, filled with the highest of highs and the lowest of public lows, has redefined what it means to move forward with dignity in the modern age of celebrity culture. By choosing forgiveness over resentment, and by valuing their rich history over the fleeting satisfaction of holding on to old grudges, They have shown millions of viewers that it is entirely possible to heal the deepest relational wounds and coexist in harmony. As they move forward into the future, completely independent in their personal lives, but forever bonded by the unique experiences that shaped them, the Bravo universe stands united in admiration for their journey, eagerly waiting to see how this newly restored friendship will continue to flourish in the seasons to come.